Hi lovely colouring friends, this is my channel Amanda Colours and I am Amanda, and that felt very wrong because I was trying to mix up my introduction, but yeah, I think I might stick to doing it the way I usually do. So I have another fun fact for you today, and that is that the colour pink was actually used to represent boys up until the 1950s. So red was considered a very strong masculine colour, and for babies and boys they used a toned down version of the red, which is pink. So the typical pink for girls, blue for boys is actually relatively recent in our history. So I thought that was interesting. Also, this is just a bonus fun fact. I can't remember when it was in history that it changed, but all babies and toddlers were called girls for a very long time. There was no boy and girl, they were just all girls. And baby boys would often be dressed in dresses as well. So our gender roles, however you feel on gender roles, they are something that we have been changing over time as well. So there you go. Today I am here with a video that I have been tagged in. I think it was possibly more than once. I definitely know that Disney Meg's Colouring tagged me, and possibly Liz from Liz at Home as well, but it is the Colouring Memories tag that was created by Erica from Elm Colours, and there are 10 questions plus a bonus question, so 11 questions about my colouring memories. So I'm going to answer those, and while I do, I am going to colour in the Small Squares Disney Portraits book by Art Therapy, and I'm going to colour this Wally page as it is our Disney prompt for the Facebook group this week. So if you would like to join the Facebook group that Disney Meg's Colouring and I, I'm just adjusting things a bit. Disney Meg's Colouring and I co-host a Facebook group together called Colour With Us, and the details are in the description below, so you can find the group, and we'd love to have you. And every week we do a number of fun tags and scavenger hunt prompts and things like that. So it's a great group, and we are growing very quickly, so there's a whole bunch of us that you can come over and get to know. So Wally is one of our prompts this week, and I'm going to be using my Derwent Inktense pencils and some various metallic watercolours while I answer the questions. So what am I going to do for the background? I think I might do some blue. Okay, so just grabbing my pencils. So the first question is, did you have a favourite colouring book or books as a child? So I can't remember when I was very young. I have quite big memory blanks actually from my childhood, but I know I've always loved colouring. I've always loved books and magazines, and I had some fun paper dolls that I used to love playing with. But as far as colouring books when I was really young, I don't know. But when I was a little bit older, so I think it was around 10, I had a Tiny Toons from the Looney Tunes franchise. I had some Tiny Toons colouring books that I absolutely loved, and I think I don't have them anymore. I don't know what happened to them, but I think they may have been the very first colouring books that I ever finished, because I just loved all the different characters and just loved colouring in it. So that would have to be my favourite. So here I'm just colouring pretty roughly with the Inktense, because I'm going to go back and activate them with water. And so I have found that you do need to cover the whole space if you want it to be a vibrant colour, but you don't have to be particularly specific or even very neat, really. So that's good. And okay, so question 2. What was your go-to art supply as a child? So I am sure that I would have had crayons. I don't have much memory of crayons, but I'm sure I would have had the Crayola set that most of us had as kids. I know I really loved the twistable crayons when they came out. But again, I think it might have been the same Christmas. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was. When I was 9 or 10, I received the Looney Tunes books, and I also received a set of 72 Derwent Studio Colour pencils, and I still have them. So yeah, it's pretty cool that I still have these. They're not in the tin anymore, and some of them I have replaced because I used them up so much, but these are like my vintage studio pencils, and yeah, I still use them from time to time, and I love them. They're just, they're a bit of nostalgia, and they're great pencils still, so why not keep using them? The next question is, did you draw or colour more as a child? And I definitely coloured more. I am not a very good drawer. Through all of my art and design study as a teenager and an adult, I did actually do quite a number of different drawing classes and things, and I don't have a natural talent for it. Probably if I put a lot of time and effort in to practicing, I'm sure I would be able to get to a point of being passable. But I would rather colour than draw anyway. So yeah, I actually have over the last few years bought a few books to help teach me to colour, just even like simple doodles and things that you could add to a colouring book. But I never use the books, so I've passed them on to someone else. Yeah, colouring is just not my thing. So number 4, do you have a favourite colouring memory as an adult or a child? I actually have one for each. So my favourite colouring memory as a child, I've actually shared here before. And it's a very special memory to me now that my dad has passed away. But it was the same Christmas that I got those pencils and the colouring books. And it was Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. I woke up early, we were staying at my grandma's house, and no one else was awake that I thought. And I got up and went into their dining room and got my pencils and colouring book out and started colouring. And then, I don't know, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes later, my dad got up and he sat down with me and started colouring with me and was teaching me how to shade and add dimension and that sort of thing to my colouring page, which is such a precious memory to me, that he, sat down and showed interest in what I was doing, and that we just had that special time, just the two of us. he was often really busy, so I didn't get to spend a lot of time with him just day to day. But because we were on holidays, he had that extra time, and yeah, it was really, really special. And I'm so, so thankful that I got to experience that with him. And I miss him a lot, a lot. I also miss my stepdad, who passed away just last year. So, yeah. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. Actually, speaking of my stepdad, that actually goes into my favourite adult colouring memory. And that was while my stepdad, he had atypical Parkinson's disease. And for the last year or so, he had to have 24/7 nursing care here at home. So we had people in and out of the house all the time. And there were people here overnight for him and that sort of thing. And I, being me, I would get colouring books out and I would do some colouring, and just trying to think of what colour to do this bit. And some of the support workers and carers were like, oh, I really like your colouring. I like to colour too. And a lot of the people that were here to help were actually fully qualified nurses and things, but they had come from overseas. So they were getting their accreditation here in Australia and doing support work and that sort of thing while they were doing that process. And of course, also because they had come from overseas, they didn't really have a lot of possessions and things here with them. And so a few of them who were creative took a lot of interest in my colouring. And so I bought some books, and my mum had some alcohol markers and things. And we kind of set up a bag of colouring things for the support workers to use during the night while they had to stay awake, but Dave was sleeping. And it was really special that I could share that creative side of myself with other people who really enjoyed being creative, and, could share some supplies with them because they didn't have any. And yeah, it was really special. So that'll be a memory that I keep for a long time. Number 5, what was your first adult colouring book? I think it was either a Johanna Basford book or a Millie Marotta book. I actually don't have any Millie Marotta books anymore because I realised I don't really enjoy that level of detail. Sorry, I'm just looking for what colours I'm going to use. I think I might use Spooky Dust, Luna, and Tin Man for Wally himself. Yeah, so, I think it was either a Johanna Basford book or a Millie Marotta book. If it was Johanna Basford, I think it might have been Secret Garden, maybe. Yes, I think it was Secret Garden. What was your first adult colouring supply? So it would be... Actually, I might activate this Inktense first. It would be my Polychromos pencils. I had just been using my Copic, I guess maybe my Copic markers. I didn't actually buy those originally for colouring. I bought them for my design study and things like that that I needed them for. And then I started using them for colouring, but I didn't buy them for colouring. So I was using those for years and years and years. And then I started watching colouring YouTube and hearing about all these amazing pencils that I actually didn't even know existed, even though I'd been colouring my whole life. And that's when I decided I was going to buy some polychromos because they seemed the more affordable of the good options. And I'm pretty happy with them. I do wish that the Arteza pencils were out back then. Not Arteza, the Artex pencils. Because I probably would have bought them and saved myself some money. Because I really love those pencils. But, you know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm just going through and activating the Inktense. I actually think that Inktense were the second sort of adult supply that I bought. I started buying them little by little. I still don't have the full set. I have the full set of the original colours, but I don't have all of the new colours that came out earlier in the year. But that's okay, I'll get there. I have a good range. I would also like to get the Graphitint pencils to add sort of to my collection, but yeah. So I do really like the watercolor style, so I'm not overly precious about how I activate this. I don't, you know, try and get the color really even or anything like that. I do sometimes try and even it out a little bit, but I'm certainly not trying to get it perfectly even. And I tend to work from the lightest colours through to the darker colours and just kind of brush it off in between. You could rinse it out, of course, but I'm being a bit lazy. So I'm trying to do these like they're lights in different colours. And I know Wally isn't all perfectly clean and shiny, but that's how he's going to be today. Okay, excuse me sniffing. How did you get into adult colouring? Well, I never really stopped colouring from when I was a child, so I don't really know that I got into it in that sense. It's kind of just more, I changed from colouring kids' books to colouring adult books as I got older, really. And actually, until the whole kind of adult colouring craze started a few years ago, I would still just colour kids' books because that's all you could get, really. And so I just made do with what I could find. And then all the adult books started coming out and it was very exciting. This is a bit too wet, but it's okay. So I'm just sort of doing the bits that might be darker in this. And this paint is from Cordelia Pigments. No, this paint is from the Art Spirits in the UK. So he's not going to be a perfectly replicated Wally, but that's all right. I don't mind. Sorry about that, I just got a phone call and it interrupted my video, which was very rude, and I just realised I didn't activate that bit. Oh well. Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't bother you that he's not perfectly replicated. Okay, next question. Who was your first YouTube colorist? I was trying to think about this before I started filming, and I think it might have been Shelley from Shell's Colouring Journey, because I remember trying to find some new adult colouring books and searching for flip throughs and that sort of thing, and I'm pretty sure it was Shelley that I found. And then I discovered, oh my goodness, there's this well, I was actually searching for pictures of inside books just online, and YouTube videos started coming up, and I wasn't really big on YouTube, really. Like, I mean, I would watch it for things every now and then, but yeah. And then it came up with colouring book flip throughs. I'm pretty sure I found Shelley, and then the rest is history, really. I kind of deep dived into colouring YouTube, and this brush is too thick and the paint's too wet. Oh well. I can go back and add the black back in again. Yeah, and then I don't know, I don't know who I found after that. It was just I just kept finding more and more people, and I still am. And I'm very glad that I found the colouring world online. I've met so many great people. Okay, now I'm not really caring, because I'm going to go back and fix the black lines afterwards anyway. Okay, what's the next question? What is the first page you remember being really proud of? I'll put pictures of these on the screen. The first one is in my Kira Doodles colouring book that I absolutely love, and is now completed. But I did this, we call it fairy floss, Americans call it cotton candy, and the UK, as far as I know, calls it candy floss. But we call it fairy floss. It was this fairy floss page, and I remember being really proud of how I managed to get the texture with my Copic markers, and that kind of set me off on a journey of really trying to create texture and interest with my markers rather than just flat colouring. And another page that I remember being really proud of is this one out of the Game of Thrones colouring book, which I no longer have. I gave it to a friend. Yeah, I just remember being really proud of the detail and, again, the texture and everything, considering I coloured it with Copic markers, alcohol markers. It's pretty good. It's still pretty good. I'm still quite proud of it. So yeah, they would be the two. What made you think, yes, I am now absolutely an adult colorist? Nothing. I hadn't even heard the term colorist until I got on YouTube and was watching other people's channels. I mean, I am an adult colorist, but I don't think, I don't know, I never really had a moment where I thought, yes, now I officially am, because I kind of always was. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how it happened. I might do these lines with a marker. Yep, and the last question is a bonus question that is, who in the colouring community do you remember reaching out to you and making you feel included? So definitely the first person was Megan from Disney Meg's Colouring, and that's how we started our friendship. She was the very first person to ask me if I'd like to do a buddy colour, and that was very cool. And then I think I probably reached out to them, but two other people who really, really made me feel welcome and included are Pixie from Pixie's Projects and Sarah from Chronic Colouring Down Under. She unfortunately doesn't run her channel anymore. She's got things going on, but yeah, they really made me feel included and special, and I'm really thankful. So thank you, ladies. So that is all the questions, and I've pretty much finished this. As I said, I'm just going to do an outline with a metallic marker, and I'm going to tidy up the silver with a black pen. But you can see this either on the Facebook group if you decide to join us, or in my completed pages at the end of the month. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing my answers. Everyone is welcome to play along with this tag as far as I'm aware. So I'm not going to go ahead and tag anyone, but if you do decide to answer the questions, I have put them in the description below, and make sure you tag me and Erica from Elm Colours, who started the tag. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.